Could the defending NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets, be looking to add a second all-star to their already stacked roster? Reports are coming in that the Nuggets have significant interest in none other than Chicago Bulls star Zach LaVine. With a team already built around the brilliance of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, why would Denver be eyeing a player like LaVine? And how would this move reshape the balance of power in the NBA? Stay tuned as we dive deep into why this trade could be the next game changer in the NBA. Hey, what's up, basketball fans? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the latest NBA news, rumors, and analysis. Today, we've got a huge topic to break down. Reports are surfacing that the Denver Nuggets, fresh off their historic 2023 NBA championship win, are showing significant interest in none other than Chicago Bulls all-star Zach LaVine. Now, this is a bombshell that could shake up the entire NBA landscape. How does LaVine fit into the Nuggets' already stacked roster? And what would this mean for the future of both the Nuggets and the Bulls? Let's break this all down and try to make sense of it. First, let's start by looking at where the Denver Nuggets stand right now. They've just won their first ever NBA championship, and their roster is absolutely loaded with talent. Nikola Jokic, one of the best players in the world, just claimed his second MVP trophy in 2023 and led the Nuggets to a dominant finals victory. Jamal Murray, after a brutal ACL injury, returned to form in spectacular fashion, proving that when healthy, he's one of the best postseason performers in the league. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and a supporting cast that includes players like Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope all stepped up at various times during the playoff run. So, Denver is in an excellent place. But if you know anything about championship teams, it's that they're always looking to improve, always hungry for more. The NBA is a dynamic league, and you can't afford to rest on your laurels, especially in a highly competitive Western Conference. This is where Zach LaVine comes in. On paper, LaVine seems like the perfect fit for the Nuggets' championship aspirations. He's a dynamic, explosive player who can score in a variety of ways. At 6'6" with elite athleticism, LaVine can hit shots from beyond the arc, drive to the basket, and dunk on anyone who gets in his way. But what's more impressive about LaVine is his ability to thrive both on and off the ball. The Nuggets run an offense that revolves around Nikola Jokic's unparalleled passing ability, and LaVine could easily adapt to being a secondary scorer. Jokic is one of the best passers we've ever seen in the NBA, and the idea of LaVine cutting to the basket for easy dunks or catching and shooting from the perimeter in transition is exciting, to say the least. His ability to play without the ball would give Murray and Jokic more space to operate, and his quickness and shooting ability would make the Nuggets' offense even harder to stop. But the interesting part of this rumor is that it's not just about what LaVine brings to the Nuggets on the court. It's also about what his arrival would mean for the team's overall structure and their ability to maintain a championship window for years to come. Adding a player like LaVine doesn't just bolster their offensive firepower, it could elevate them to a whole new level. Right now, the Nuggets are already one of the most well-rounded teams in the NBA. They have an elite defense led by Jokic and Gordon, and their offense is explosive when Murray is on. But there's always room for a little more firepower, especially in a conference that's stacked with teams like the Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors, and more. The West is loaded with superstars, and Denver has to continue improving to stay ahead of the pack. Now, let's talk about how this trade could actually happen. The Chicago Bulls have been stuck in the middle for the past few years. They've had some success with the pairing of LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, but they're far from being a true contender. They've made the playoffs a few times, but they haven't been able to break through. So, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that the Bulls might look to move LaVine and start retooling for the future. Chicago might want to look at young talent and future draft picks to build around, especially if they don't believe they can contend with their current roster. For the Nuggets, making this deal happen could be tricky. They don't have an abundance of tradable assets, considering they're already at the top of the NBA and rely heavily on their core players. However, they do have Michael Porter Jr., a talented wing who is capable of scoring and defending at a high level. He's also under a long-term contract, which could be appealing to the Bulls. MPJ's ability to stretch the floor and contribute immediately makes him a solid piece for Chicago to consider. The Nuggets would likely have to include him in a trade, along with some young players like Christian Braun or Peyton Watson, plus a couple of future draft picks to make the deal work. For the Bulls, this would be an opportunity to get a young player like Porter Jr. who could potentially be a centerpiece for their rebuild. The Nuggets could also throw in a few future first-round picks to sweeten the deal. This would give Chicago the flexibility to build for the future, while the Nuggets get a player who could push them even closer to another championship. If this trade happens, it would have a massive impact on both teams. For the Nuggets, adding LaVine would give them one of the most explosive lineups in the NBA. Imagine Jokic orchestrating the offense, with Murray running the pick and roll, and LaVine spotting up for an open three or cutting to the rim. That's a nightmare scenario for opposing defenses. LaVine could be a secondary scorer to relieve pressure on Murray and Jokic, and he'd have the freedom to operate in transition or in catch-and-shoot situations. The Nuggets would be even more dangerous in a playoff setting, with more offensive weapons at their disposal. But let's not forget the other side of the equation. What does this mean for the Chicago Bulls? If LaVine is traded, it would signal the end of their current competitive window and the beginning of a rebuilding phase. The Bulls have been treading water for a few years now, and moving LaVine would force them to focus on developing younger players, perhaps leaning more into a future with players like Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu. It would also give Chicago more cap flexibility down the line, which could be valuable if they want to chase big free agent signings or trade for another star down the road. The Bulls would have to carefully weigh their options, but a deal with the Nuggets could certainly help them turn the page and begin a new era. If you're a Nuggets fan, you have to be excited about the potential of adding LaVine to the team. With Jokic in the middle, Murray as the playmaker, and LaVine as the scoring threat, the Nuggets would undoubtedly be one of the most dangerous teams in the league. If you're a Bulls fan, it might be tough to say goodbye to LaVine, but you have to consider the long-term benefits of a rebuild. Either way, this is a fascinating scenario that could have a ripple effect across the NBA. So, what do you think? Do the Nuggets pull the trigger and add LaVine to their roster? How do you think this would affect both teams moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth NBA content. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.